Guardiola named a strong squad for Man City's friendly win over Palermo, but there were several notable absentees from that, and some were due to fitness issues, and some were due to people, speculation over players' futures. We'll start off with Rodri. Guardiola's delivered a concerning update over the weekend, saying that he does not expect Rodri to be fully fit or return to his very best until after the first international break in September. Rodri is still recovering from what has been described by Guardiola as a big injury that he picked up at the Club World Cup early this summer. And it sort of remains to be seen as to how much game time, if any, he will get in the month of August when City play Wolves, Tottenham, and Brighton in the Premier League to start off the new season. How significant is this, Steve, and how much of a blow is this for City now, who will need to cope without Rodri, their star midfielder, for it seems a little while longer now.
Yeah, Rodri's the best player in the world, so it's a massive blow. It's a sort of blow and probably also not a blow, depending on your viewpoint. Like, I think City probably expected this to an extent. It sounds like from Guardiola saying he actually might still be on the bench every now and then, just not playing regularly because of the nature of the injury. Yeah, fit, but don't push him. I was reading about the injury and how they actually treat it when it happened, and I had no idea how invasive it is in terms of they literally take a bit of so. The ligament goes essentially. They have to replace it, and often they do a graft of some ligament from the hamstring, and that the stretchiness, for want of a better term, is different to what would be, in your ACL where it usually be. And so it has to literally, essentially, be stretched and stretched and stretched to get that elasticity. Essentially, that can take an awful long time. And this is why injuries are so common, especially then in the muscle where they've taken the graft from. Yeah, it's a really bad injury, and this is why injuries happen afterwards because the body has to sort of adapt to it, stretch to it, and shape around the graft and the fix basically. So I think that they were probably always expecting this. Guardiola made it very obvious when this happened that they weren't expecting him to be at his best for a long time. I remember him saying December, January, or something like that of the following season, and it feels like that is probably what they're aiming at. I mean, you hope for the best because he was back at the Club World Cup. You hope that maybe you'd have to go through that. But that's a very best case scenario. It's not a realistic one. Obviously, the purchase of Reinders, as we talked about already, is very exciting. He's a cracking midfield, and we still have the quality in the experienced lads like Bernardo Gundogan. Of course, Kovacic is still here. Nico Gonzalez will probably lean on him a little bit more. We have the quality, and they should be more than enough to get past most sides in the Premier League. So I'm expecting City to still be fine to an extent, but it is a blow because Rodri, my confidence goes from I think we can challenge to I think we can win the league with Rodri. I think because Rodri's that level of good. It does feel unfortunately that we're going to have to wait for a long time, to see the very best of Rodri. Maybe around Christmas time, there's a big sort of improvement in his playing time. But for now, I think we're going to have to be patient as City fans because it's such a complicated injury. And it's one, it's not, it just doesn't heal. Your body adapts to it, and adapts to the changes in it. And that's going to take an awful lot of pushing, essentially, of his own body. I saw people saying, oh, he obviously wasn't ready, but that's not really how it works. Like, at some point, you have to start putting pressure and stretching that new ligament out, and you have to start running and so on. And people going, you could have waited a little bit longer, but you could have waited to the start of the season. It would have happened then. It would have happened at the start because ultimately it's the pressure you put on it, and you have to play football. And let's not act like he was playing for, he's back in training and started playing. He was in training, full training for 2 months like beforehand. So it's like it's just unfortunate, but it's the nature of the injury, and we'll have to be patient as City fans.
Yeah, it is a shame, and other sort of fitness concerns over the last few weeks. You had Josko Gvardiol and Phil Foden missed that trip to Palermo. They weren't deemed not fully fit. I think Foden's nursing a knock to his ankle, according to Guardiola. These are two important players as well for City heading into a new season. Of course, Gvardiol's established himself now as one of City's main defenders, a first team regular. Foden, has a point to prove this season after sort of a difficult season last year. But on his day, isn't it? He's an exceptional player, isn't he? So it'd be
Yeah.
nice to see these two fit and firing as soon as possible, wouldn't it, in the new season?
Well, they go into the starting 11 almost certainly at their very best. Foden, I expect personally to be something like the Phil Foden of the season before because, yeah, I just think he'll be better. I think he's going to enjoy playing with people like Shirky and Bob and so on and Reinders. Yeah, I think he'll be much more. alert this season. I think Rodri returning eventually will help him. Yeah, I think he's going to enjoy his football, and ultimately, the best version of Phil Foden gets in most teams in the world, and definitely Manchester City. And I think he's very aware of his own failings last season. He looked good in the Club World Cup as well. Gvardiol, I think this is going to be the season where he's more or less nailed to play left centre back, which he's probably been waiting to do for a while. With Eight Nori coming in and O'Reilly capable of playing left back and Ake still at the club, it's going to be his slot at left centre back essentially because we've got options to play left back now. He could play there still, and he probably will at some point. But Gvardiol is a cracking footballer who formed a really encouraging partnership with Diaz towards the end of last season as City locked in for the Champions League. So yeah, both of them back will be great. I'm not like panicking over them because I do think we do have the decent options right now. Like, if you have to play Ake or Stones at centre back, I won't lose any sleep over that because they're cracking footballers. And likewise, we have to play Shirky and Oscar Bob. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that because they're cracking footballers too. But you want Foden back, you want Vardio back. I think the best version of Manchester City is capable of winning the league this season. I think Liverpool are a really good side, but there's question marks there still. There's question marks over Arsenal, Chelsea. There's question marks over them if you want to look for them. And people definitely want to look for them for City at the moment. So why not do the same for the other sides?